The envelope arrived on a Tuesday. Not in the mail, not delivered by courier, but hidden in the bottom drawer of our family's antique desk, like it had been waiting for me to find it. My name was written across the front in my father's familiar handwriting, though he'd been gone for 3 years. Inside was a debt notice, $700,000. My signature at the bottom, dated on my 18th birthday. A signature I'd never written. If you're still watching, buckle up because this story is about to take you on a ride you won't forget. Hit that subscribe button and let's dive into how one piece of paper changed everything. Growing up in small town Oregon, I thought the biggest secret in our house was my mom's recipe for her famous apple pie. Turns out, some secrets have interest rates. I was cleaning out Dad's old study when I found it, tucked behind years of utility bills and tax returns. The letterhead belonged to Morrison Financial Group, but the name at the bottom made my blood run cold. Alexander Kane. Even in our small town, everyone knew that name. The man who owned half the commercial real estate in the state. The kind of businessman who wore $1,000 suits and collected debts like trophies. My hands shook as I read the terms. Marriage contract. Debt forgiveness in exchange for a binding union. No romantic obligations, just legal paperwork and a ring. I confronted my mother that evening. She was in the kitchen, humming while she kneaded bread dough, the same tune she'd hummed my entire childhood. When I placed the contract on the counter, her hands went still. "I was trying to protect you," she whispered, flour dusting her apron. "Your father made mistakes. Big ones. I thought if I kept it hidden long enough, maybe it would just disappear. But debts don't disappear. They grow." Kane Industries occupied an entire city block in Portland. Glass and steel reaching toward the clouds like a monument to ambition. I felt small walking through those revolving doors, carrying nothing but the contract. And my father's last letter, the elevator ride to the top floor, felt endless. When the doors opened, I stepped into a world of marble floors and floor-to-ceiling windows. And there he was. Alexander Kane looked exactly like power should look. Sharp suit, sharper eyes, the kind of presence that filled a room even when he wasn't speaking. He was younger than I'd expected, maybe early 30s, but there was something old in his gaze, like he'd seen too much too early. "Miss Sarah Bennett," he said without looking up from his desk. "You're 2 weeks late." "I just found out," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. He finally looked at me then, studying my face like he was appraising an investment. "Your father took my money. Your mother buried the truth. And now you're here to clean up their mess." I squared my shoulders. "What exactly do you want?" "A wife on paper. Nothing more, nothing less. You fulfill the contract, I forgive the debt. Simple transaction. Simple. Write out we were married in a conference room on the 40th floor. No flowers, no music, no witnesses except his lawyer and a notary who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. The whole ceremony took 12 minutes. Alexander, he insisted I call him Alex, handed me a small velvet box afterward. Inside was a platinum band, elegant and cold. He didn't put it on my finger, just handed me the box and walked away. His penthouse was a study in expensive minimalism. Everything perfectly placed, nothing personal, like a museum exhibit titled "How Rich People Live." My room was at the opposite end from his, connected by a hallway that felt longer than my childhood home. The first week, we were like ghosts sharing the same haunted house. He left before I woke up, returned after I'd gone to bed. We communicated through notes left on the kitchen counter, grocery lists, maintenance schedules, the mundane logistics of two strangers pretending to be married. But then small things started changing. He began leaving coffee made when he knew I'd be up. I started cooking dinner for two, even though he never asked. Neither of us acknowledged these tiny gestures, but they were there. Little cracks in the wall we'd built between us dot everything. Changed the night I found him on the balcony at 2 a.m., still in his work clothes, staring out at the city lights. He looked tired in a way that sleep couldn't fix. Couldn't sleep either? I asked, wrapping a robe around myself. He glanced at me, surprised. I didn't wake you, did I? No, I'm a natural insomniac. We stood there in comfortable silence, watching. The city breathed below us. Finally, he spoke. This wasn't how I imagined my life would go, he said quietly. What did you imagine? Something real. Something that mattered. He looked at me then, really looked. What about you? What did you want before all this? I thought about it. To matter to someone, to build something that would last. And now, I'm married to a stranger who doesn't even know my middle name. It's Rose, he said softly. Sarah Rose Bennett. It was in the contract. I stared at him. You read the whole thing? Every word, multiple times. He turned to face me fully. Your favorite color is green. You majored in literature but never finished your degree because your father got sick. You make the best coffee I've ever tasted, and you hum when you think no one is listening. You've been watching me. We live in the same space. I notice things. That night, something shifted between us. Not love, not yet, but possibility. The turning point came during a thunderstorm in November. The power went out in half the building, and we found ourselves sitting by candlelight in the living room, sharing takeout Chinese food and talking like actual human beings. Tell me about your father, I said to his fork paused halfway to his mouth. What do you want to know? Why you became this person? The man who collects debts and marries strangers. He was quiet for so long, I thought he wouldn't answer. Then he died when I was 15. Heart attack at his desk, working on a deal that was supposed to set us up for life. After the funeral, I found out we were broke. Everything we owned was leveraged, mortgaged, borrowed against. I spent the next 15 years building this empire just to prove it could be done. And now I have everything I thought I wanted and nothing that actually matters. I reached across the table and touched his hand. He didn't pull away. What if we tried? I asked, tried what? Being real. Being married for real, not just on paper. He looked at our joined hands, then at me. You'd want that? After everything? I think I already do want it. That night, for the first time since we'd signed the contract, he kissed me. Soft, tentative, like he was asking permission. When I kissed him back, it felt like coming home to a place I'd never been. The next few months were like learning a new language. We had to unlearn being strangers and figure out how to be partners. It wasn't always smooth. We fought about small things. He left coffee rings on the marble counters. I reorganized his perfectly organized closet. But we also talked about big things. His fear of becoming his father, my dreams of finishing school, what we wanted our life to look like if we were actually choosing it. Alex started coming home earlier. I started joining him for business dinners, playing the role of supportive wife, but meaning it. We developed routines, inside jokes, the comfortable rhythms of two people learning to love each other. The first time he said, I love you, we were grocery shopping. I was debating between two types of pasta sauce, and he just said it, casual as commenting on the weather. What? I dropped both jars. I love you, he repeated, this time looking directly at me. I know it's complicated, and I know how we started, but I love you, Sarah. I kissed him right there in aisle 7, between the marinara and the olive oil, not caring who saw us. A year later, we renewed our vows, not because we had to, but because we wanted to. This time, there were flowers, white roses, my favorite. This time, there was music. This time, when he placed the ring on my finger, his hands were steady and sure. I, Alexander Kane, take you, Sarah Rose Bennett, to be my wife. Not because of a contract, not because of debt, but because I choose you. Every day I choose you. When it was my turn, I looked into his eyes and saw our future there. I, Sarah, take you, Alex, to be my husband. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Because what we built from broken pieces is stronger than anything that came before. We kept the penthouse, but made it ours. Photos on the walls, books scattered on coffee tables, the kind of beautiful mess that happens when two people actually live somewhere instead of just existing there. Alex still runs his business empire, but now he comes home for dinner. I finished my degree and started teaching literature at the community college. We're planning to travel next summer, not for business, just because we want to see the world together. Sometimes I think about that contract, still locked away in his office safe. A reminder of how we started, but not who we became. If this story taught me anything, it's that love isn't always about fairy tale beginnings. Sometimes it's about two broken people deciding to heal together. Sometimes it's about choosing each other every day, especially when you don't have to. The debt that brought us together is long paid. The contract that bound us is just paper now. But every morning when I wake up next to him, every evening when he comes home and kisses me like he missed me, every quiet Sunday when we read the paper and share coffee, those are choices. And choosing each other again and again turns out to be the strongest foundation we could have built. If this story moved you, if it made you believe in second chances and unexpected love, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about finding hope in the most unlikely places. Your support means everything, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, the best love stories aren't about perfect people finding each other. They're about imperfect people refusing to give up on each other